Welcome to Golden Ogre's Final Fantasy Guide Chapter 4. It's been a while, but in Chapter 3, we defeated Lich, the Earth Fiend, and sailed to Crescent Lake. In this chapter, you're going to be able to get some amazing goodies, which will open up the majority of the world, but you won't have to do it in the same order as I choose. More on that later, but for now, let's investigate Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake has all the usual shops you'd expect. Head into the armor shop and notice all that silver. Fighters can equip anything. Thief and Red Mage can equip the buckler as a shield, and the Red Mage can also equip the silver armor. The weapon shop has some nice upgrades too, but chances are you shouldn't need any of it. The silver hammer is good for the white mage, and the silver knife for the black mage if you have some spare change or haven't picked it up already. Walk up and talk to the guy above the weapon shop. Apparently he's asleep while walking in place. No worries, we'll check on him later. Now for level 6 magic, I won't worry about any of it yet. Too expensive and you'll need to be at a high level to cast it. Let's just take a note of what we have though. Exit is the most useful spell, but we can't learn it yet. Soft is a waste because the item is much cheaper. Fog 2 reduces damage taken and buffs the entire party. Although I rarely use this spell, it can be useful. Invisibility 2 is great, but later on you'll be able to cast it for free using items. Keep in mind that red mages will have far less access to spells from level 6 on. Now black magic is basically disappointing. Lightning 3 though is really great, gotta get that. Rub instant kills one character but rarely ever works. Quake attempts to kill multiple targets but also works around 50% of the time per character. Stun only works in enemies with less than 300 hit points, which isn't helpful or a good use of magic points, so buy Lightning 3 and forget the rest. Head over to the east and you'll find a whole circle of prophets. You talk to Lucan, and he'll thank you for defeating Lich and give you a canoe and our next clue, the Fire Fiend, which is located at the volcano. Talk to each of the prophets and they'll give you insight on all the crystals and the 4 elements. The other 3 fiends and the other hints needed to progress the story are also given. Now, with the canoe in your pocket, it's time to prepare for the volcano. Gurgu volcano, that is. Technically, we don't need to go there first. With the canoe, we have other side quests we could do. You're able to reach just 2 other areas. You can reach the Ice Cave, and you can also reach Castle Ordeals. But we don't know much about them yet, so right now we're going to skip that and just go the traditional route and head over to Gurgu Volcano. Make sure you have 99 heals, a few tents for saving before and after, and have at least 4 softs just in case. And be a minimum of level 14 and you should be good to go for this one. The path to the volcano is pretty straightforward. Just if you make the wrong path, just turn around and go back, and eventually you're going to see it coming up ahead. Once inside, you'll see the light colored tiles. Walking on them causes 1 hit point of damage per step. Although it's a drain, you won't trigger any battles, so you can use them to your advantage. Going down to the next floor, you'll notice a giant room filled with treasure. It's worth your time to grab everything. Tons of gold and silver items. Whatever you don't need, you can just sell. Otherwise, continue on to the next floor. This one's pretty straightforward. You just keep walking over to the right until you see the staircase. This entire dungeon is pretty straightforward, but just make sure you're checking your HP whenever you go onto a normal tile, because you're going to have characters who might have only 1 hit points, and then you might die in the next round, so just be wary of that. Alright, on this floor, there's nothing to find here, so what you want to do is go down, left, down, and left again. Any other direction you'll find yourself in a dead end, and since there's no treasure here, this could be a real drain on you, so just watch your step. Alright, so we have this floor and then we're almost done. You'll notice that there's going to be 6 rooms. Each one has treasure, whether it's gold or other items, but the one you really want to get is up to the top left. So feel free to grab whatever you want, but definitely don't skip out on the top left room. There's going to be a gray worm protecting the chest that holds the flame shield, so just be careful and make sure you're healed up before you enter that battle. Once you're done, you picked up all the loot, don't forget to equip all your new stuff, and then head south all the way to the bottom. It's up to you if you want to pick up the chests. You can always come back later and grab them if you're running low on items. This is the final floor. I'll save yourself the headache. There's rooms at each corner and each side of the floor, but you'll just want to go to the left room first and grab the flame armor. Expect the red dragon to protect the armor and an Agama counter that you'll hit twice on the way in and out from that chest. Both these battles aren't very scary themselves, just make sure you're healed up just like before and you should be able to get your equipment and get out of there quickly. Just like usual, press A on the orb, initiate a little dialogue, and Carrie will pop out and force a boss battle. As you might expect, fighters, thieves, and black belts will always attack. Have your white mage cast anti-fire to help ease the flames, and have your black mage cast fast on each attacker. If you can, cast slow on Carrie too, since in my playthrough, she managed to hit me with critical hits doing big damage. Carrie only has 600 HP, so as long as your fighter is alive with fast activated, he should be able to kill Carrie quickly. Throw whatever black magic you have left at her and she shouldn't survive long. You can't revive in battle, so it's all or nothing. Once it's over, walk over to the throne and revive the orb. Now you can just walk into the portal to exit the dungeon just like you did with Lich. At this point, you're probably over encumbered with equipment, so save your game, head back to Crescent Lake, sell off your stuff, and restock your items. Now back at Crescent Lake, you remember that guy who was sleeping? Well, now that you finished Carrie off, he apparently wakes up. And now he lets you know that 10 years he's been looking for the floater. And now with the canoe, you can head up to the ice cave. So that's going to be our next task. Alright, let's tackle the ice cave. Grab your ship, which should be near the port east of Crescent Lake. Just follow the coast until you see the Gulf. There's a port, but you can dock at the river entrance. Hopefully you're stocked up and at least level 16 for this journey. The ice cave is one of the hardest dungeons in the game, believe it or not. The path to the cave is a little trickier than before, but you'll find your way. You'll see the cave shortly and know that you're on the right path. As usual, once you get there, save. At this point, it should be routine to save before and after every cave, so I shouldn't have to mention it. But this cave is no joke. Once inside, just head to the right and wrap around hitting the staircase. There are cockatrices on this floor, so you're vulnerable to stone. Either run away or blast everyone on the screen with heavy spells like harm and fire too if you got it. The next floor is a giant square, so either go down then left, or left then down. Either way, the exit is at the bottom left of the floor. This floor is extremely challenging because you have a good chance of seeing either a mage or a sorcerer or a group of either. Now mages, they can cast Rub, which can kill one of your characters in one shot. Sorcerers, they can also do the same thing, but they have a skill that's called Instant Kill. So what happens is they hit you, you see nothing, but your character just dies. It almost seems like a glitch, but they're actually designed this way. Next, you're going to find yourself circling around the treasure room. This floor is pretty dangerous. Make sure you run if you see any preemptive attack messages, since it's guaranteed on the first move. Inside, you'll see 3 chests and red holes, so be careful. After that, you can just fall into a hole. The chest to the right is just a cloth armor for some reason, so ignore it. There's an immediate encounter on the next floor. There's a high chance you'll get a preemptive attack, so if you see it, just run. Otherwise, blast them away with harm or fire spells to get out of there. To the left is a room with ice armor, which you may be tempted to get. That's up to you. At this point, I'd be more worried about completing the dungeon rather than minor upgrade to an already beefy fighter. There's a room to the bottom left that's filled with gold as well. There's a lot there, so if you're feeling greedy, go for it. Keep in mind that we'll be seeing this floor again. The next floor you pass through a room, and it's worth noting that you should collect the treasure here. To the right there's another room with 3 chests, most notably an ice shield. You'll see the stairs outside of the room, but don't go there yet. It's the exit, and we're not done yet. Instead, just fall into the hole in the room. You should recognize the next spot. But be careful not to fall into the hole again and head to the chest. You're going to end up fighting an eye that can cast quadruple X, which is basically the same thing as Rep. The eye isn't very strong, so handle him with your fighter and collect the floater. Now, unfortunately, we have to backtrack to the same rooms again, but now you can either grab the loot you missed or just get out of there. Once out, save your game and congrats, the floater means we can get the airship. But where do we go? Oddly enough, the only way to get the hints of where the location is to head back to Elfland and speak to the elf who's right next to the armor shop. He tells you to head to the desert south of Crescent Lake. So now we have the location, we can go ahead and head there now. Head back to your ship and sail to the south just past Crescent Lake and dock at the river. Enter the desert and use the floater from the item list. Finally, the world is ours. There are no enemies to worry about in the air, so head to town, sell stuff, stock up on items, save your game, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Make sure you like, share, and leave me feedback in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.